bit about depression today. I have many clients who come to see me primarily to learn to love themselves, to learn to get out of fear, out of anxiety, to get into their lives, to learn to find joy and passion and happiness and freedom of mind. And so this is my primary work. I teach people how to love themselves. And what I found as the years have gone by is that many of my clients who come to me in the state of a lack of self-love, a lack of self-worth, anxiety, fear, judgment, blame, they have very, very deep depression. Many of these clients are so depressed that they're actually kind of dysfunctional. They don't get on with their work, they're not getting on with their partners, they find themselves sometimes even so far as to be suicidal. And I was working with somebody yesterday who was deeply suicidal and had been seriously contemplating taking his own life. And so I thought that perhaps this was the time to do a video about that and just let you know that it's absolutely unnecessary to feel that way. And there is something that can be done about it. And not something that's going to take years and years of therapy and drugs, but something that can be done about it very, very quickly. And the thing that has to be done about it very, very quickly is to change the mind, to start to understand how the mind works to create your experience. So I want to tell you a little bit of a story about that. And it's a story that I heard firsthand at a conference from a woman who was standing up on stage. Her name was Jenny. And she had been, according to her, so depressed that she had agreed with herself that she would kill herself. But she decided that if she was going to go ahead and do something so dramatic, that she needed to give herself a really, really good chance to solve this problem before she went ahead and did so. So she gave herself a 6-month window. And she said to herself, if I'm not feeling better in 6 months, that's it, tickets. I'm going to give myself permission to kill myself. This is a pretty dramatic state of depression. She was completely dysfunctional. She couldn't go to work. She couldn't go to the shops. She basically was housebound and pulling the duvet over her head every day. And now we see her on stage telling her story. So what happened? What changed for her? Well, according to her, what happened was she was seeking how to get out of this depression. She'd given herself this commitment, so off she went to look for a way to get out of this depression. And somebody had said to her, you really got to go to the 3 Principles conference. You have to learn about the 3 Principles. So she went along, she pitched up at this 3 Principles conference in London, and she walked in the door and it was just crowded with Jews. And she said to herself, oops, is this a religious thing? Because she was Christian, she wasn't Jewish. And somebody said to her, no, this isn't a religious thing. It's just that this organization sponsors the conference. Please come in and let us help you. And she went to that conference, and the conference is a 3-day-long event. And when she came out the 3-day-long event at the end, everything had changed for her. Because she had developed this clear understanding that depression was not a state that could not change. That all states were fluid, and they were all as a result of the quality of thought in the moment. And that the quality of thought in each moment changes from moment to moment. So we're only in the state of our thinking in the moment. And that we cannot get into an emotional state in any other way but through thought. And she said it was really quite curious because she came out of this conference with a kind of a sketchy, marginal understanding of this thing. But what changed was the way that she felt. What changed was the way that she processed the world around her. It became a very, very different view of how things worked and how she worked within them. And the upside of this was that she very, very quickly saw changes in her life. She didn't do anything else. She wasn't worried about changing her drugs or being on antidepressants that worked better or did something different. She just started to have a clarity about thought in the moment. And this clarity created a considerable shift in her life. Within a mere 3 months, she was back at work. She was fully functional and she was loving her life. And she stood up on that stage and she said, really, it's not that I don't get sad. It's not that I don't feel depressed. Some days I feel depressed. But what changed is that I don't care. I'm not concerned. I'm not frightened. It doesn't matter. And because of that, it lifts in no time at all. So I go into these momentary days of funk or hours of funk, and then before I know it, I'm back again and I'm feeling groovy. So this is what this understanding can do for you. And this is what I found the understanding does for my clients. It's the very, very first thing we work on when I'm teaching people how to love themselves. How does your thought create your felt experience? How does understanding how thought, how the mind, how consciousness, how awareness actually work change everything for you? And when you start to have this new understanding, everything changes. And it is quite the most incredible thing to see my clients shift from being so deeply depressed, sometimes to the point of suicidal, to changing their focus, looking elsewhere, being able to recognize how thinking is creating something, and come out the other side a new person. So if you're suffering from depression and you've been down this route of drugs and therapy and trying to change your life and trying to change your job and trying to change your environment, and it just doesn't seem to work for you, it's because you have a misunderstanding. It's because you don't really understand, where does depression come from? How is my mind creating my experience? And when you learn that thing, everything will change for you. So if you're at your wit's end and you really want to shift your life, perhaps it's worthwhile coming to see me and learning this thing from me and seeing what can shift and change and seeing if it can transform your life for you. It would be my deep honor and privilege to do that work with you. So I really look forward to meeting you. If you have the courage, if you are open-minded, and you have the potential to just pick up the phone and call me, I welcome that call. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful day.